Hi everyone, this is Mukesh Otwani once again from learn-automation.com. Today in this video we are going to talk about how we can generate the extent report and how we can add the logs in the same report in our framework. So in our previous videos we have already did some kind of setup. So this is the fifth video on the series. So if you have not gone through my previous videos, I would recommend you to watch the previous videos where we have discussed about the framework part. So what exactly we are going to do now, we are going to add this extent report and we will also add the logs, and in this report we'll also add the screenshot feature. So as soon as a test pass or fail, depends on your requirement, you can capture the screenshot and add this report in your add the screenshot in the report itself. So we already have covered 4 videos till now, so this is the 5th video. So if you have not done this kind of setup which we discussed in the previous video, then you have to watch all these videos. So initial 2 videos are the theory part and these 2 are the videos where we did all the kind of setup. So if I go back, these are our packages. We have created one test case. This test case simply does the login part and it generates default report, which is the stingy report. So in order to generate the extent report, we already added one dependency. So if you go and check the extent report version which we are using is 4.0.0, and I already have a detailed explanation how to use extent report 1, 2 and 3. So 4 is also same, only the UI changes you will notice, but in terms of code will remain same. So if you have not gone through the extent report video how to use this in the normal test cases, I would recommend you to watch the video first so that you can directly see how we are integrating with framework. Okay, so what we have to do, we just have to create object of extent HTML reporter, then extent report, attach that reporter, start the test, add the logs and flush the report. So we are using this base class, right? So in the base class we will be doing all kind of setup. Now okay, this part I will again start from the scratch. So in the before suite we will be adding this, because as soon as my test suite should start, it should initialize the report part which I can use across all my framework. So I don't recommend you to keep this inside before class or before test. Whenever you have this kind of reporting, always keep in the before suite. Okay, so what we are going to do now, we are going to use extent report. So I will create one global variable of extent report, and rest everything we will set here. So we have a separate class called extent HTML reporter. So we'll create object of it, new extent HTML reporter, and now it will ask you where you want to generate the report. So file path we need to provide. Now if you go back in our framework, we have already created a folder called reports folder. So we want to generate all the reports in this particular folder. So either you can put dot operator, okay, in upcoming videos we'll change this with system.set property, or if you wish you can directly add now. So what it will do, system.get property. So we have a predefined property called user.dir. So what it will do, it will give you the current working directory. Okay, in this case it will return you the path of the framework. Then we will give one slash reports, because here exactly we want to generate the reports. And for the time being I will give a static name of this report. I will say free crm.html. This will be our report name. We'll make it dynamic because we already have a library. So for the time being, let it generate a single report, and then we will generate based on the timestamp. Now once this is done, you can say okay, so now we need to create object of extent report. So we'll say new extent reports, and we will attach this HTML reporter. So we'll say reporter dot attach reporter and extent. Okay, extent HTML reporter. Then we created object of extent report. This we have given the global so that I can access outside this method as well. And finally we have to attach the report. Similar way, once this report is done, okay, so we need to flush it. So in the after method, we are going to give report dot flush so that it should generate the report, and based on our test cases it will keep on adding. If you're running 5 tests, this report dot flush will keep on adding the test into a single report. Now we also need one more object called extend test, and I will give this name as a logger. Guys, I'm directly using it, okay. I'm not going to the how to create reports, which we already discussed, so I will recommend you to watch this where we discussed in detail how to use this. As of now, I'm directly creating this extend report references which I will be using. So in the base class, before switch is done, okay, now we have to see how to use in our test case. So this is our test. Now if I want to start, first I will say logger. Now this logger is coming directly from your base class, since we extended the base class. Now we are going to say create test. Okay, so we will see what is the method. So method is here create test. Okay, so name, actually we have given this report, right? So we need to say report dot create test, report dot create test, and whatever test name you want to give. So this test case is all about login to CRM, so I will give this name as login to CRM. And what exactly this will return? This will return the object of extend test, which we already created as a logger. So now this logger will be responsible for all the logging activities inside your test. Okay, so we have logger.info, logger.pass, logger.fail, logger.skip, logger.error. So in this test we are going to use two. So we'll use logger.info. Info, it is just I want to provide some information about the test or the test step, I would say. So this step I will say starting application. Okay, and whenever you have some kind of info step, I will recommend add the info steps. But once you're done with the activities, you can directly say steps pass fail. So once we are done with this activity, so once your test is done, I will say test pass, and I will say login done successfully. Now these are the info steps which I want to add, and now if I go back to the pages which we created, this is our login page. In our last video we changed this actually, so now I will keep this as a username. So when I run this test, ideally it should generate one extend report. Okay, let's see. And we created one XML file which is simply running our test. So either you can run directly from this test case or you can run from this test.xml. Let me run this and see how it look like. So if you want to use extend report 2, extend report 3, it's up to you. I'm using the latest one, but if you don't like the latest UI, you can revert back to the extend report 3, because syntax is same, only thing is UI is getting changed. Okay, it successfully executed the test. We do not have any validation as such, so whether it's login done or not, it simply generates a report. So when you just refresh your reports folder, you can see free crm.html report is generated. And when I open this in a web browser, okay, just a second here. Okay, so this is the info step. You can see whenever you say info steps in your test, it will actually just generate the info statement. Okay, but whenever you say pass, it will generate this red color checkbox. Okay, and if you say fail, it will generate red color checkbox. It means it's failed. So when it fails, it's not checkbox, it will show you the cross in red color. So it is up to you how you want to customize. As of now, since we have one test, it is just adding one. But if you have multiple tests, so let's say if I create one dummy test, and this I will say login app 1, and let me give okay, this I will not keep, or let's keep one priority equal to 1, and I will give priority equal to 2 here. And I'm not doing any activity, just to show you how this report look like. So when I say log out, and this time I want to fail this, so I will say fail, and I will say log out failed. Since we are going to do the same thing, right, we are doing in the same file, so it will append. If you want to generate the different files altogether, that also I will show you. For the time being, it will run 2 tests, and it will add these 2 test cases in your report. So again, let's run the XML file, and since we have not given any dynamic name of the report, again it will generate the same report, free crm.html, so it will override the previous report. Okay, so now if you just refresh this, you can see now 2 test cases added. One is login to CRM, one is logout. Since we have given fail, it failed my test. Now important point, if you have 10 steps, and even if a single step fails, it will mark overall test as failed. Okay, so now 2 tests in a single report, and this is the dashboard. 2 tests, 0 steps as of now, started time, end time, total time. Right now you can see time, it is not showing the correct. Okay, now we want to add one functionality. First of all, let's quickly change that every time it should generate a unique name, right? Now if you go back to the helper library, which we discussed already in our second or third video, here we have created one library which generates the date and timestamp in this particular format. So that same thing I'm going to use here. This part will be fixed. Okay, and what I will do, I will just try to call that library. That library is helper dot get current time. Okay, so it will attach the same thing, plus it will generate the latest date timestamp, and .html it will attach. So I will run this, so definitely it should generate a HTML report. Now second part is I want to attach this report screenshot as well, in terms whenever my test fails. So this condition we already added, okay, in our previous videos. If my status is fail, it should capture the screenshot. Now, but how this screenshot will get added to our report, right? Now if you want to add, then we have already, okay, so we need to see the method. The method name is, if you just come down, okay, here we have not discussed. Let me go to the documentation and see. Okay, let's see the report. Yeah, it is there in the report. So what we'll do, first of all, we need to, since it is a fail, I will say logger.fail. Now when you say fail, it will ask you provide me the detail, plus if you want to provide any media entity, like you want to add any fail test screenshot. So let's use this. Here I will say test failed first of all, and I want to attach the screenshot as well. For this we have a separate class called media entity builder, and here we have a method called capture screenshot from path. Okay, now it will ask you where is the screenshot, and it will automatically attach. So we'll provide the path, and we'll say build. That's all you need to do. Now how this path will come. Now if you go back to this method, we have created this method which will capture the screenshot, which is this, right? Now I want this method should capture the screenshot, plus it should return me the screenshot path as well, which I can use in my report, right? Because automatically it should return me the path where my screenshot is present. So now this is the path which we need to return. So let's create a local variable here called screenshot path. Now first of all, I need the current working directory, so I will say system dot get property, and this property is fixed for everyone, guys, so this will be user dot dir. Once we get the current working directory, we need to go to the screenshots folder, right? Then I will give this free CRM as well, underscore. Then we will say this current time.png. It will capture the screenshot, sorry, current date time. Then we'll add .png, and that's all. So this is the path which will be used for screenshot. So now let's enhance this library, and I will pass this path. This path we will return. So as of now, the current method which we are using, it is returning void, but this should not be void, this should be string. Once the screenshot is done, I will return the screenshot path from here. Now let's go back to the base class. Here I will call this method, which is helper dot capture screenshot. Now what it will do, if your test fails, it will capture the screenshot. Let me remove this now. It will fail the test. It will go inside this method. It will capture the screenshot, and it will attach here as well. As of now, we have added only for the failure condition, but if you want, you can also add for the success. My requirement is at last step I should be getting the screenshot. So you can put result dot get status equal to itest result. Itest result is a separate interface. So if it is success, I want to do the same thing, but this time I will give as pass, and this I will say test passed. Now generally we also get one more kind of status called skip, right? So I also want to generate, if my test skip, then also it should capture. So I will say get status. Okay, but few companies, they do not prefer the skip test, so if you want to avoid, you can avoid, but in case if you want, you can also add like this. If this goes to skip state, then you can say logger dot skip, and again same thing. So as of now, I will put only 2, and report.flush will automatically take care of adding this test into a same report. Now let's run the test and see what it returns. Okay, so now this time we have some other report name. Okay, it failed actually. Okay, so it says null. It means something went wrong with our screenshot method. Let's go and check. I will tell you what happened. It is trying to add the screenshot in the report, but it is not able to find. So it says media was not found in this directory. So this is the path, this is a screenshot name, but here it is returning null. It means for this particular, okay, it should be user.dir. Okay, that's the reason it was not able to capture the current working directory, which was returning null. Now let it run immediately, and as soon as a test pass, yes, it's done. It told the screenshot captured, and let's refresh. You can see now we got two reports. This is the previous report, which is definitely should not have the screenshot. This is the latest one. It is 1:31 a.m. So let's open this in a web browser, and you can see login success. This we added, and this for the success. Now even though if your test fails, it will capture the screenshot, and this time you will notice it will add crosshair, and still it will attach the screenshot, because in the base class we added this condition. To fail this test case forcefully, I will change the locator to username 1 and again run this. Guys, one more important point which I want to highlight here is, right now I'm writing the custom logic, right, to generate the report. There's one more we call using listeners. Now when we use listeners, then sometimes we don't get this kind of features where add a screenshot on failure. You can do, but again you need to struggle a lot. So I will always prefer custom reports, but if you want via listener as well, it's just a code which you can add in the listener, and that listener you can add in your testng.xml, so it will keep on generating. But this custom report where you can add the custom logs will always help you. Okay, if you again refresh, again new report 132. Okay, let's open this, and this time test failed, you can see here, and again screenshot captured. And actually you can see it should be underscore, but it is giving free CRM plus. Maybe we have to just change this. By mistake we added plus, but it should be underscore. Okay, now we are almost done. Now few more things which I want to add. Now when you run your test, right, what it does, it simply start, and it is running internally, right? It is running before suite, it is running before class, it is running after class and all. But if you want to see what exactly is happening, what activity is happening in the while running the test, you can add the custom log as well. Now custom logs, it's up to you. Do you want to use log4j, or you want to use reporter.log, or you want to add sysout statement, because these logs are just for your information, not for the actual test. So it is up to you what you want to use. So I can use reporter.log. What it does, it will generate the log, and if you say this to true, it will also show you in the console as well. So reporter.log, it generate the log in your HTML report, which is default custom testng report, and true will also print the logs in your sysout. Again, it's optional. If you want to see at which point your framework is, what exactly is happening, okay, which method is getting executed, you can add this. So I will say setting up reports and test started. Setting up the report or test started. Once it will reach to this particular, okay, and maybe once it is done, you can say settings done or all configurations done, test can be started. Okay, setting up the report, test is getting ready, settings done, test can be started. And this is again, you are in the before class, you can say trying to start browser and getting application ready. Same thing you can paste here. Once you're done, you can print browser and application is up and running. And guys, this is, as we know, that it will run statement by statement. If something goes wrong here, it will not execute this statement, it will not generate the log. Okay, so you can easily identify like something went wrong at this statement. Same applied here, we can print and we'll say test in after method, or test is about to end, and test completed, success, failure. Okay, if you want you can directly give, and you can also generate like reports generated. What we did, we just added some custom statements which are logs. These logs you can also find in your test engine reports. It will not show in the extent report. Now let's run this again and see what exactly we did. You can see here, and it will show you every time because you have added all these logs in the base class, right? So at least you can see now at which statement or at which line we are. Okay. It failed, so it should generate failed report. Now if you want to see the test engine report as well, just right click, refresh. These are the reports which we have discussed. This is the latest one. Now if you go to test output, and if you see this email report, right click, open with web browser. Okay, it is not showing here, just a second. Since we have not added this in the test case, we have added in the before suite, that's the reason it is not showing here. So when you have the reporter.log in the actual test, it will show you. Okay, so you can see the importance of logs and reports. So reports anyways is getting captured, it logs it's just for your information. Okay, so if you want to try the same report with listeners, I will try to create one more video on listeners. In case if you are not liking this approach where you have to write custom statements, you can still use listeners, but again listeners will generate the standard logs and the report, not the customized one. Okay, so that's all I have for this video. So we have seen how to generate report, logs, screenshot and failure, and how to attach in the report. Now same report we are going to publish in the Jenkins as well. So once we move forward, we will be using Jenkins as well. So these reports you can also see directly in the Jenkins. So that's all I have for this video. So if you like this video, share with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.